So you might be wondering how to use belt technique in your singing so that you can sing high notes with a lot of power, but without straining your voice. And in this episode, I've got you covered with an interesting alternative to belting and why this alternative will actually serve you even more while still getting the same powerful sound in your voice. So let's dive into it. Hi, my name is Maggie. I'm the founder of the Singing Insiders, in which I help passionate singers just like yourself become the best versions of themselves through singing. And in these episodes, you're going to get practical tools, techniques, exercises, and insights to help you up-level your singing skills to the next level. So let's talk about this idea of belting when singing. Now, in order to truly get this and truly get the alternative that I'm going to share with you, it's important to understand that many beginner singers tend to make some mistakes. First of all, many beginner singers, they hear someone belt, just like Whitney Houston, for example, in her song, I Will Always Love You. So to give you an example, in there she does, and I will always love you. So it's this big, powerful sound where, it seems like you're on the top of the world, right? And so many beginner singers, they hear that sound and they're trying to emulate that sound. And the only thing that they're doing is pushing their voice to get there. And that can cause hoarseness, that can cause tension. And then after singing the song once, you might feel very tired. So we don't want to have that. Also, many beginner singers, when they're practicing that belt or when they're trying to copy their favorite artists who are natural belters, they don't stop when they feel that tension or hoarseness coming up. And that's such a shame because what you're doing really is injuring your voice at that point. We don't want to have that. So once you're aware that you might be making those mistakes, that's step one, because now you can actually do something about it. And where I want to get you to is into the world of the trained singer. And the trained singer is someone who knows how to belt in a healthy way. So a trained singer will not just scream for 2 hours on end trying to sing that Whitney Houston song or that Beyonce song. The trained singer knows actually that there's some kind of vocal technique behind applying that belt. Also, the trained singer will recognize signals from the body and from the voice. So a trained singer, when they hear tension or hoarseness coming up in the voice, for them, that's a signal to say, hold up, I'm doing something wrong and I need to change how I'm singing this song right now. And that's where the trained singer will easily and effortlessly go from belting to mix belt. And that's the alternative that I want to talk about today. Because what is mix belt and why is it so powerful? Well, first of all, belting, as I said before, is basically healthy shouting, right? So if you imagine that there's someone across the street and you're waving hello and you're saying, hey, 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 that's belting. I'm in my chest voice, I'm adding a little bit of twang, and I'm having this high, powerful sound. And I can sing in that, right? I can do, and I will always love you. That's my belting voice. I'm in chest voice. I'm powerful. It feels super relaxed because I know what vocal techniques I'm using behind that to get to that result. Now, the higher I go, the more this is going to become difficult, especially if you don't master your mix belt. So in that song from Whitney Houston, there's actually a couple modulations, right? So she's going higher and higher and higher. So imagine that you want to belt maybe here, and that pitch. If I take that in my chest voice, that's where I might start tensing up. And it might sound a little bit like this. And now, obviously, I'm exaggerating. But that's where I would take my chest voice and take it all the way up. And that's where I would experience the tension and the hoarseness. Instead, I want to go to mixed belt. And I will always love you. That is still a powerful sound. It is still singing high notes, and it is still sung in a relaxed way. So now I'm combining both elements. I have the pure belt, which is belting in chest voice, and I'm combining that with my mix belt, which is belting in mixed voice. And we're going to talk about that. Now, if you can see how valuable this is to combine the belting with the mixed belt, then please subscribe to this channel, because there's going to be lots more tips and techniques around this singing technique. And like this video if you're finding value in this. Now, the big question coming up is, how do I actually do this? And this is what comes next. So let's move on. As I told you, it's a matter of combining the belting with mixed belt, so that in a song you can transition between those two easily and effortlessly. So how do you do that? Well, there's 4 steps. First of all is to develop your mixed voice. If you cannot access your mixed voice register, there is no point in me teaching you how to do mixed belt, because there's no mixed voice. We're going to be talking about mixed voice later, so stay tuned for that. Now, the second step, once you have your mixed voice mastered, is to start mastering that first pure belt. Belting in your lower range and then taking it up. So practice that shouty quality in your voice. Hey, hey, hey! And put it on a song, right? Like, and I. So practice putting the belt technique in your lower range. And when that feels good, then we can move on to the next step, which is, once we have mastered that pure belt, which is that shouty quality in chest voice, we can move on to master it in mixed voice. And so basically, we're taking the concepts of pure belting, but putting that in your mixed voice register, which then becomes mix belt. So now we have the two worlds working separately. Step 4 is to make them work together so that you can go from one world, the pure belt world, to the mix belt and transition between those two worlds effortlessly. And that's where you have the power to sing any song you'd like with that powerful, shouty quality. So let me recap, because this is so important. Number 1 is to develop your mixed voice. Without mixed voice, we're not getting anywhere. Number 2 is to master belt in your lower range first, so in your chest register. Number 3 is to then apply those same principle of getting into the belt, but then into your mix register. So number 3 really is developing that mix belt. Number 4 is practicing to transition between pure belt in chest voice and then mixed belt in mixed voice. So can you see that it's a matter of using the right vocal technique in order to experience that vocal freedom and power when singing? And it all starts with mastering your mixed voice. That's the most important technique. If you cannot master your mixed voice, if you cannot activate it, if you cannot sing in mix, then steps 2, 3, and 4 don't even matter. So here's what I've done for you. I have actually recorded a whole episode regarding mixed voice where I walk you step by step how to get into that mix. And I'm inviting you to go and listen or watch that episode next. So I've queued that up for you. I linked to that episode in the description here down below. So my invitation to you would be to go and click that now so that we can keep this conversation going. And once you have that mixed voice mastered, then we can look at how can I apply the belting techniques into my mixed voice register. Okay, that's where the magic happens. So I will see you in that next episode. And I want to thank you for having been here. Thank you for spending your time here with me. I'll see you in the next episode. And see you soon. Bye.